Okay, we're live.
Okay, well, I hear people want to come and visit the chief. I'm not sure what you want to find out, but this is sort of like the Halton Regional Police Service Chief's episode of Cribs, if you ever watch that show. So come on in. I've got, someone said it's coffee with the chief, actually, and we've tried to save some budget money, and we're going with water with the chief, but I'd like to share a few things about the Halton Regional Police Service because you may be watching from somewhere locally, you may be one of our citizens, you may live within Halton, you may live in another community where you wish you lived in Halton because we're one of the safest communities in all of Canada. And if you look at the regional municipalities or the large police services or municipal areas across Canada, Halton Region is in fact the safest across the whole country for municipalities over 100,000. So some people ask us, how do we do that? And it's not just the police that do it. It's certainly not the chief that does it. It's all of my frontline staff. And when you look at how complex policing is these days, and certainly most of you would read the Toronto Sun or the Toronto Star, Globe and Mail, read about the issues that some of our police services deal with on an ongoing basis, all of those issues happen in a safe community such as Halton as well. But it's the municipal taxpayers and to a degree provincial taxpayers that pay for this police service here in this tremendous region of Halton. We have just over 1,000 employees who work for the Halton Regional Police Service. Some of you may like to be one of those one day, future police officer, future dispatcher, records clerk, special constable, prison, court security. We have so many jobs here. If you're interested in careers in policing, it's all online. Check out our website at haltonpolice.ca. Go to our recruiting websites. But you could join what we call an integrated team here of police and civilians, which are now over 1,000 people at a cost of $140 million a year. Most of that funded from the taxpayers of our communities, which include Oakville, Burlington, Milton, now Halton Hills, previously Georgetown, and the town of Acton. In those communities, we protect and serve just over 600,000 people, but we're a tremendously quickly growing community. The town of Milton alone, and I started policing in 1982 here in Halton before I moved to some other services around Ontario. Milton used to be around 30,000 people. It's now over 100, and in about the next 20 years, it is going to not only blossom, but explode to around 300,000 people just in the town of Milton. So some of the growth that the Peel regions of the world and the Mississaugas and Bramptons of the world have seen in municipal neighbors of ours, we are now experiencing here. And it's not only bringing more people to our area, which means we need more police officers, we need more technology, and the information technology is something I'd like to touch on for some of you. I guess you're watching it right now. As a form of our information technology. But we need to keep pace with the growth of our community. We need to keep pace with the ever-changing complexity and diversity of our community and make sure that we serve all citizens of this great regional municipality equally and equally as well. And that means we need to provide our police service, which is public security, and protection to all of those 600,000 citizens that live here, the business people who come here and work here each day, the people that come here on holidays or to visit people. That's the responsibility, not only of myself, because I don't have a position where I have to go to work and do something. I always say to people, I am so fortunate because I get to go to work every day. This is where sometimes I live every day, and sometimes those days are longer than others. But it's about getting out and being with our community, getting to know our community, making sure our police officers know the diversity and the complexities of our community, and that we use information technology to better serve and better deploy our officers. I'll give you just an example of that, and we're certainly at the forefront of business intelligence or business analytics. It's different from crime analysis. We have crime analysts who look at what crimes are occurring in our community, perhaps when, trends in crime. But what we also have to look at is what's happening in the business side of what we do. it's no longer effective or efficient for us to put a certain number of officers on the streets throughout the region 24 hours a day if the business is at different times. So I often say, even to our frontline members, if you had a store, say it's even a Sears or an Eaton's, and you had 20 salespeople 24 hours a day, those salespeople would not be busy between 3 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's sort of one of the trends that we see in policing. So we need to be able to respond fluidly and with flexibility and to develop a matrix of different police officers and different units that work in our community to make sure that we're there when the citizens need us the most and the most often, and when the most serious types of things happen. And I think it's also important to look at where Halton is. I mean, Halton is strategically in some ways positioned, I sometimes say halfway between Toronto and Niagara Falls, certainly between Mississauga and Brampton and Hamilton, which are both large metropolitan areas with a variety of complexities and issues to deal with. There is no borders when it comes to crime. There are no borders when it comes to impaired driving or drug trafficking or drug and alcohol addiction or mental health things that our officers deal with. So it is a very complex world that those 1,000 employees deal with every day. That's where policing has evolved. We can say, and we say statistically, police officers in Ontario, and certainly here in Halton, only about 25% of their time is actually spent dealing with crime, and the investigations of crime, the original attending at someone's home who's been broken into, doing the original reports, arresting someone for a crime. The other 75%, and this is where some people and some levels of government are looking at the sustainability of policing, is we have become the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week emergency response for all types of issues. And those are often societal issues, issues dealing with the mental health and people in distress in cases of mental illness, drug and alcohol addiction, neighbor disputes, all sorts of different things that our officers respond to every day. And there is no one else to do that. While other levels of government from time to time have cut back, and for example, Ministry of Health closing institutions that used to deal with some of the most serious cases of mental illness, they're no longer open, and there's not enough psychiatrists to deal with people. Children, sometimes in need of psychiatric or psychological care, wait up to 6 to 12 months to get that sort of support from the professionals that need to be doing that. So certainly our governments are looking at what level and in what areas do they invest your taxpayer dollars, your provincial and federal taxpayer dollars. But in the meantime, the police services, wherever you are, in Ontario, across Canada, or otherwise, there is a police service which is dealing with issues in your community. And it's far more complex than what you may think it is about, well, we don't have a very high crime rate, or crime rates are going down, so why does the police service need this or that, or this high of a budget? And those are some of the reasons why. I would also like to know if you're close enough to Halton. This is our headquarters here. Thankfully, we're very lucky to be having a brand new headquarters currently being built, which we will move into in about July of 2017. Come back then and visit, or come back in between. But if you would like to come and visit us on another special day here, we have a police day here on May 14th. It's an open house. We'll have displays of various units from our canine units, tactical rescue units, search and rescue, and a number of our different units and special divisions within our police service will be here with displays, things like victim services. There's another opportunity for you to become involved with our police services, not as a member potentially, but as a volunteer. And we have many, many dedicated volunteers. One very pivotal key area is that of victim services. So a lot of our victims of crime, and sometimes of the most serious crimes, are actually assisted and helped and aided by volunteers who are highly trained by some of our very, very capable full-time people and coordinators of victim services so that we can, when we deal with a situation and someone has been victimized, or break and enter, an assault, however serious that may be, the police officers will deal with that situation, and at some point our victim services volunteers will take over the care of the victim, and then the officers can go about what they are trained and most highly trained to do. So it's really a privilege to have you come and visit here today, and certainly I hope we can do more of these. And I have no idea how many followers, but if it's one of you or 1,000, welcome. This is where the Chief of the Halton Regional Police Service lives most days, and you're welcome here anytime. There may be questions. I'm sure someone will tell me if there are, but on subsequent times, certainly we will do that. But go to our, if you Google Halton Regional Police Service, go to our website. You can look at details as far as recruiting, if you may be interested in becoming a member of the service. You may be too young, but look at your education plan if that's something that you want to do in the future. Look at what you do in school, stay in school, work hard in school. Look at our volunteer opportunities. And we have tried very hard in recent years to be the most transparent and open organization that we can be. And one of the things you may notice on our website is a crime mapping tool. So if you live in Halton, you can go into that map and drill down to the area where you live and look at what sorts of crimes or the number of crimes that may have happened or not happened in the area where you live. They're cleansed of personal data or individual data. You won't know what house was broken into, but you may know that 2 homes were broken into within the last 6 months within a 3-block radius of where you live. And that may give you a little bit of a trigger to protect your own home, your own vehicle, your valuables. So look at all of those things and join us in the crime prevention side of policing. Make your valuables as safe as you possibly can. Make your home uninviting to criminals. We'd always like to come and visit you there under good terms. Make sure that the house isn't an open invitation for someone to do something on the criminal side. And work with us as we go through our continual move into the community mobilizational world, and you'll hear a lot about that in our local newspapers and local television coverage of how we continue to partner with different organizations, public sector, volunteer organizations in our community who are best there and are best able and capable to serve the needs of our citizens, where sometimes it's not always the police that own an issue. Sometimes it's a neighborhood issue, a school issue. So certainly the people, and if you're here living amongst us, play your role to help us to make Halton even safer tomorrow than we are today. Thank you very much for joining me here today, and hope to see you again soon. Hope you enjoyed this PERISCOPE experience. It's something new for all of us, and have a great and safe day.